best way, right? Because that's how I don't know how much you know of my story, but that's how I got onboarded into Pulsechain, right? So I've been in crypto for like going on 10 years, maybe even 10 years now. But I kind of missed the boat. I'd always been familiar with Richard and all that, but I missed the boat on the initial Hex bull run. And I kind of just lost track of it after that and didn't really follow up on Pulsechain. I had heard about it, but I just didn't even investigate. I don't know why. And then Hexologist came, and one day, like, he's followed me for years, and he was just in my mentions on like this call post that I made of all the different coins that I thought would do well. And he was like, why no Hex? Why no PLS? And I was like, I don't know. Why not? Like, show me on it. And he ended up being like, okay, we'll set up a wallet. I'm going to send you some PLS. You could check it out, whatever. And from there, when he sent me the PLS, like, I just dove in.
Yep, onboarding through the freemium. I'm telling you, it
Yeah.
works.
But that's
Yep.
what I tell people all the time. Like, if there's somebody you really want to get, especially if it's somebody that's already in crypto, like, it works for people that aren't too, but somebody that's already in crypto, like me just getting that little $30, the $30 didn't mean anything to me. It
Skin
was
in the
just the
game.
fact, yeah, I have it
Yep.
now, right? So now I
Hmm.
want to go look into what I have. I start looking at the charts. I start seeing the history of what happened. And then, of course, the part that I always tell everybody, the community that showed up behind him commenting on my post was what sold me on it. I was like, yo, where have these people been all my life? Like, I didn't know the army you guys built behind my back.
Yeah.
And I was just like, what is this? Like, I'd never seen anything like it. My mentions were so crazy that day, and it was
Yeah.
all love.
Yeah, we've actually done that at an event before. Who was that came up with that idea? Cryptographics, I believe it was, when we were in Canada. He's like, "Have you ever really seen the engagement, like the authentic engagement that you can get from talking about Hex and Pulse?" He goes, "Is there anybody new in the room?" That doesn't really have a Twitter. He's like, go on there, set up a new page, tweet something out about, hashtag Hex, post, whatever. And then I'm going to leave one comment. And then he did that. And then, like, within an hour, his page was just like flooded. He had like 50 new followers, like all these comments. It's great. Like, this
Yep.
community is deep.
But
And I
that's
think,
that's really what sold me, you know?
yeah,
Like it was the tech was cool, but like I've seen a lot of cool tech in my years. So like obviously that was part of it, but then it was also just this like very alive, very committed, very passionate, and also loving community. Like I've said it a few times. This community has been so nice to me. Like there've been a couple like bad apples, but for the most part, anytime I've had a question, I have people that just DM me out of the blue to say, hey, check this out. This will probably help. And they're not shilling me something that's their product or anything. It's literally just a tool that they're showing me to try to help me in my journey.
yeah, you're right. Like 100%. This community has been the most educational, supportive community that I've ever been a part of inside crypto and outside of crypto.
I
You know what I
agree.
mean? So
And like, I always make the disclaimer, like I've been on crypto Twitter probably for like 8 or 9 years now. And like I've never seen anything like this. The only thing I've in numbers was the XRP army back in the day. But
mhm.
I mean, I don't think their community was as tight as this one is. It's more just they did a lot of raids and stuff.
Yeah, yeah. No, this community, I mean, we vacation together. We do everything. Like, we are a real thriving community, and I love it. And that's what's kept me around for so long regardless of the price. I mean, it's also the hex staking. Like, let's not get
Well,
it twisted.
yeah.
Like, that is what keeps us here, brought us here. It's the longevity of the game plan, right? Most of the people that come here don't come in just looking for, of course, everybody likes green candles. Everybody wants to see, quick double up. But this community really has like a mindset of, I want to change my family's life. I want to create
Yeah.
generational wealth. I don't mind being here for a while. And then that makes you, buy in more into the communities and the relationships that you have with people.
Yeah, and it's that long-term thinking and the long-term mentality. Like I remember after I got here, people explained to me what a 5555 stake was. And I remember after I did my first one, there was this feeling associated with it that I didn't expect to get. And it was kind of like just immutably bonding myself to crypto for the next 15 years.
Yeah, I feel that. And
Yeah,
I've
it was weird.
and I've done it with my kids. Like my kids are I have three kids. I have a 18-year-old, a 13-year-old, and an 11-year-old, right? And they've been on this crypto ride with me in Hex for, the last 4 years. And so all of them have their own wallets, all of them have their own stake, and they are looking, 15 years for them is a lot shorter for them than it is for a lot of us, right? But they're tied in, like they watch their portfolios, they're committed to like seeing what they're gonna have when they're in their 20s. So like you have generations of Hexkins because of this staking. Whereas like had I just gave them, some SHIB or some Doge or whatever, it would have just been like, oh, that was a cool run up, and then that's it, right? Like if you didn't sell, you're pissed. If you sold, you're like, oh, I spent it. But it's that time locking that really holds you in, keeps you involved.
I agree. And that's all a testament to what Richard Hart built. And speaking of what Richard Hart built, how about those green candles these past 2 days?
Oh my gosh, it feels so good. Like, especially like in a role like what I do, right? When there are nothing but red candles, the sentiment in the community gets so negative. People just you get attacked.
Yeah,
They're like, "Why are you doing that? Why are you living your life? Why are you going places? Why are you
super
doing
toxic.
this?" Oh, it gets so bad. But let you have like 1, 2 days of green candles, and it's just like kumbaya again. Everybody's holding hands and singing songs. It's just, I don't
It's
know,
incredible.
human psychology, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, I feel like so here's the thing because I always knew of the Hex community. Like I didn't know what you guys had going on, but I knew a lot of like the stereotypes and some of the negative stuff that was levied against you guys, and I never participated in any of that, but I always knew that you guys were kind of outcasted and othered. And being here now, seeing how amazing everybody is and realizing just how oppressed you guys have been in terms of like crypto, it makes me happy when I see you guys start to win and start to have success because I feel like you've all been here grinding even though things have not gone your way, and I feel like everybody deserves it.
Yeah, no, 100%. It's awesome to be able to shut up some of the haters, like with no
Oh
other
yeah.
way of saying it. Like the way that they come for us every time the price drops. It's like we told you it was a scam. We told you this. Like, come on, people.
It's so
Everything in
weird though.
crypto drops. Everything in crypto drops. I have seen some of the smartest people educating in this community for free without, yes, of course, some people have paid groups, but they're providing like next level, consistent like information all the time, right? But for the majority of content that these people are putting out, it's just whatever YouTube will pay them. And that's, let me tell you, that's nothing. You know what I mean? So they're really just doing it to provide value to the community, really just to provide education. And it doesn't even count all the countless hours, like you said, of people just straight up DMing you like, "Hey, you got stuck doing this? Try this. Here's an alternate way to find your stakes or to do this or whatever," right? Like people building platforms to make sure that we have alternative routes to be able to do everything. And like you just don't see that, and you don't get that kind of support in other crypto places. It's like project up, project fail, and then that's it.
Yeah, for
You
sure.
know what I mean? That's it. And like this community is constantly building to make the network stronger. And that's what I love about it. That's like really what's kept me so involved all this time.
And it's also like crypto is just generally toxic. So like
Oh
to have
yeah.
this many cool, friendly, nice, intelligent people, like it almost felt uncomfortable to me because I'm so used to just toxicity.
Yeah. Legit. Like, you know, and I don't want to put it on men. I don't want to man bash,
Oh
you
no,
know
you
what I
could listen, listen. This is a safe space for that. We can talk all about
mean?
that because I used to be on a crusade against these dudes and trying to eradicate the intense misogyny from this space. Like,
Yeah, but it seems like if it, like just my opinion, I feel like the Hex and Post community is not as toxic. Of
no,
course, there's
I've
toxic in
said
every
that.
community, but I
I've
feel like it's less because of how many women that we have. Like we really embrace women and community, and like
badass
the
women.
ladies try to support each other and try to build each other up. And for me, that's been like a huge difference maker. Like, because even when I see like super toxic behavior online, I'll just tune them out. And the only chats that I reply to are like my lady chats. You know what I mean? And that seems to like die it down until, of course, the green candles come back. And then, you know, everybody's all happy again.
Right. Yeah, I commented on that. I think it was like a week or two ago, and I was just saying like it's amazing how little of that negative stuff is here when it comes to women because that was like super pervasive in crypto, especially in the earlier days.
Hmm.
And I think Postchain has some of the most badass women I've ever encountered in my life. So shout out to every female that's out here killing it, that's out here taking over in the platforms and just letting their voice be heard. And that makes me so happy. People that, have a lot going on in their life or, kids and job and all that, like they have to kind of limit the amount of time that they can actually spend doing this research and being in charts and all that stuff. And I think Hex is a great instrument for that because not only does it protect you from yourself, it also is something you can kind of just set and forget.
Yeah, because like you got to think about it. A lot of us believe in the principles of crypto as far as like we want to break away from the traditional financial,
Yes.
machine, right? We want to be our own bank. We want to eliminate middlemen. We want to keep that money for ourselves. But the idea of being, let's say, like a trader, that's not appealing to a lot of people,
No.
especially especially women. You know what I mean? But
Yeah,
the
it's also
idea of
not.
breaking away from the machine, that is a message that resonates. So it's like, how do I do that in a somewhat responsible way? So when COVID came around, I kind of dived into options, but my husband, he dived into crypto real hard. DeFi
Oh,
summer.
okay.
I mean, he had like every altcoin known to man. By the end of the summer, my bags was looking like boo boo. His was looking like gold. I was like, I want to do what you're doing. I want to play the crypto game.
Word.
And then one day he comes to me and he goes, "Hey, I know that we said that ETH was going to be our main asset, and we were just going to like dibble and dabble with all these altcoins." He goes, "But I found this dude named Richard Hart, and I think I'm going to give him all my ETH." And I was like, "What? What are you? What do you mean? What are you talking about?" I was like, "Let me see what you're talking about." So then I watched this video of Richard Hart, and if you know me, like, no, I'm not impressed by this dude in this weird hat and this in this big chair, and you want to give him all our money. But it wasn't like that. It wasn't like he was trying to give him our money. He just wanted to use the amplifier. And so, I put past my like natural reaction of just judging him based on what he looked like, and I started listening to what he was actually teaching, and then it just hit. Like it just made so much sense. Understanding Hex, understanding the long-term game. I was just all in from that moment forth. So yeah, definitely participated in the amplifier. Was so happy about big payday. Like transferred every other crypto that I had into Hex. It all worked out. And yeah, so ever since then, I've just been loyal to this ecosystem, to the post chain ecosystem, and that doesn't just mean the RH core coins. Like I said, there have
Thank you.
definitely been some developers and some projects within this ecosystem that I really love. I've even, I have relationships with a lot of different influencers that degen on other chains. So they tell me about something, I'll go over there, buy it quick, and bridge it out and bring it back to post chain. But
Yep. I was gonna say you still got that degen in you. That
yeah,
doesn't just
still,
go away.
yeah, still got that degen. But for the most part, the loyalty is definitely here in post chain.
But I did find this awesome community and this awesome chain called Pulsechain, and I always tell people I feel like it's a second chance at Ethereum because I was there in the early days of Ethereum and I know what it felt like, and that's what this feels like.
Yeah, yeah, it really does. So I really hope that people can really take advantage of the position that we're in right now. Right? People get so like down when prices go down that they don't seize the opportunity for what it is. They wait. They wait until it's already gone up 5, 10x, and
Yeah,
then they're like, okay, this is
FOMO
legit.
buying.
Yeah, let me get in. Then it may double again, but for them that wasn't enough. So then they hold. They don't take out their initial investment, and then it drops, and then they're mad.
Yep.
So
Well, let's talk about that, right? Because like this is the other thing in the news that I wanted to talk about. Well, we'll talk about Richard first. Like going back to the oppression thing, like this chain more than most others has also been oppressed by the U.S. government in the sense of what the SEC has been doing with Richard.
mhm.
And just recently, we're seeing like literally just how like insanely twisted and I'll say corrupt they are in what they're doing with Elon because Elon, broke step with whatever political party and now all of a sudden he supports, their adversary and wow, what do you know? A SEC case pops up right before they leave office. Like, really? I just think it's crazy. And it's like you can really start to see just how they use these branches of government and these government agencies to manipulate things into their favor. And I feel like with crypto, they've been trying to kill it for years and they've been using the SEC to do it. And, now that you can kind of see what they did to Elon, it's easier to understand what they're trying to do to Richard or Coinbase or XRP or, pick your poison. But I think the one good thing is the fact that they went after Elon to me is a major plus because Elon is working with Trump. Trump is coming into power. And now they can coordinate to kind of clean house with the SEC, which they were already essentially doing. But now it's just ramped that up to a whole other degree. And I feel like a lot of these cases are just going to get wiped out, thrown out, whatever. And the other part that a lot of people are still learning about is Richard's lawyer is Elon's lawyer, and he's also Trump's new advisor on ethics. So there is like a triangle of connections there to where Richard really could end up potentially being part of the policymakers on crypto.
You guys are so lucky that she's the co-host because I would be pressing so many sound effect buttons right now.
Look who it is.
You can't do that as a
No,
speaker.
I can't. Like, oh wait a minute. Oh no.
She found it. Watch
Oh
out.
no.
Oh, that's awesome. But no, you have just educated me because I didn't know the connection between his legal team. I do know
Oh,
that he has a
really?
Oh, I thought
badass
you knew that.
team of lawyers, but I did not know the connection to Trump and to Elon.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So Elon's lawyer is one of Richard has a bunch of lawyers, and I'm
Yes.
sure Elon
Badass
does
team.
too, but they definitely they share the same lawyer. And that I think it's that same guy is also just became Trump's main advisor on ethics.
That's awesome.
If it's not him, it's another lawyer from that law firm, but I'm pretty sure it's him. I forget his name. I posted it the other
Another
day.
thing I heard, and I'd have to ask, I think it's Herbs who might have told me this, and I'd have to confirm with him. But two of the lawyers on Richard's team, I'm not sure which firm they're from, but they were former SEC employees.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean that's fairly common, like just as somebody who's unfortunately been in the legal system a lot. Like a lot of times like prosecutors will become lawyers, like DAs will become like the high powered attorney in that town. Like they kind of flip-flop between the two and generally speaking in criminal court you want to find somebody that's worked as a DA or a DA's assistant or something like that because they know all the tricks of the other side and how to combat that.
Oh, slick.
But yeah, most of the money isn't in the government side. Most of the money is in the private practice. So like a lot of these guys, like they cut their teeth working for the government to get all the benefits and shit. And then once they're done with that, they go into private practice for themselves and they make a fuck ton of money.
Yeah. Yep, that's the machine that they have built for all of this. Real quick, I heard your guys the story when you guys first started talking about how you both watched the same video today.
Yeah, it was meant to
Well,
be. Like, we were supposed to meet
exactly,
today.
and you know, that's kind of to your point about Richard and his lawyers and Elon and Trump, right? Like, and I've mentioned this before, these synchronicities, like, they're everywhere. They are everywhere in
We
our
talk
community.
about them all the time, though.
It's so awesome.
Like, you and I always talk about synchronicity.
Yeah, because it just seems to, like, overflow. It's like an abundant thing around these parts.
Yeah, man, it's weird, SJ.
What? Excuse me?
I s- I say, yeah, man, it's weird because we've also talked about this.
Yeah. I mean, I've had whole streams dedicated to just talking about the synchronicities within our ecosystem. Like, it is very common and happens all the time. Like, I hear people's stories, how people, you know, everything from how people got into the community, you know, or into crypto at all, to this, you know, y'all meeting today. Like, it's just something else. Like, and I'm really hopeful that as we move into, you know, this next year, and man, I've told you, you all both know this, like, I've never seen a bull run, so I'm still like, is this real? Is it really gonna happen? You know, I love the thought of us just coming back together as a community and really continuing to build each other up as we move forward. I'm just
That's the thing though, right? Like, just phase out all the negative, all the toxic people. Like, everybody should be as positive as possible every day. I'm not telling you how to live your life, but like, your life gets so much better when you start practicing gratitude and just being like happy with where you're at, but still having goals and stuff like that. And being in crypto, like, you guys are all still so far ahead of the curve. Like, I forget what the numbers are like, but it's like some crazy percentage. Like, we're such a small percentage of the entire globe that is already invested in this stuff, and it's only going to keep getting bigger. So even if you're down really bad right now, and I understand a lot of people, especially in Hex are, and even in PLS and stuff like that, but like, just try to look at the bigger picture and just try to keep putting in whatever you can if you really believe in this stuff, to where you can dollar cost average and get your entry price down lower than it is. And I really think it's all gonna work out. Like, we're seeing pumps again. Here she goes with her bell. We're seeing pumps again. Like, I think this SEC case has just been a black cloud hanging over our heads. And, you know, hopefully, I think it'll get resolved. And once that happens, I feel like the sky's really the limit.
Yeah, we've battled these type of sides many times in this community. You don't know how many times like things have been looking like blue skies, and then there's some type of FUD that enters the
Yeah,
system that just like completely changes the sentiment. But I'm gonna tell you, we are a resilient bunch.
you definitely
This
are.
this community just continues to build and grow, and because of that, I know that, you know, it's all going to work out in the end. We just have to stay consistent and stay building.
And I
I
think too,
agree.
to stay open to correction and to stay open to learning. Like, you know,
Hmm.
like we do all make mistakes. Like, I just kind of as a blanket statement, right? Like, there are so many people over this last few years who decided to take a step out and try something that they'd never tried before, or try to, you know, like, try to build something, or try to, you know, learn about like LP. We are, I feel, the most instructional and helpful group of people that there is,
Yeah,
and
I
it's
agree.
really a magical thing when, you know, we give each other grace to say, hey, you know, like, you tried that didn't work, like, you know, I'm because we're all here learning together, we're all trying things together. Some of it's going to hit and be awesome and work out well, and some of it's not, you know. So as long as I think we learn from those mistakes and, you know, understand that we're each human, right? Like, we don't have our AI bot replacements yet, so
I'm still waiting on my AI girlfriend though.
oh man. So yeah, I'm excited. I'm still excited. I'm still waiting. I'm just in disbelief, I guess.
Everybody needs to be excited. And here's the thing, right? Because I've been seeing it on the charts, and I'm not calling anybody out specifically, but you guys need to stop selling. You gotta hold. You got a diamond hand. That's how we go up.
I was joking around because yesterday for the Pulsechain tour, yesterday was the last day to get your name tag personalized. Like if you wanted like a really cool personalized badge, and my post was like, if you want your tag, your badge to say diamond handed stud, like today is the last day.
Yeah. I don't know how familiar people in the audience are with what happened with GameStop and the whole short squeeze that they tried to pull off, but essentially what it comes down to is by everybody entering a contract, like a verbal contract to hold their shares, the price eventually has to pump because again, like you guys know with Richard, like supply and demand. Like if everybody that owns it is holding it, there's less and less for sale. And therefore the new people that are coming in to buy drive the price up much quicker, which is similar to what happens with the OA and having the supply being so small that's actually circulating. That helps the pumpamentals or pumpanomics. Is that what Richard calls it? I don't know. Somebody just told me that term today. But that's what
Fundamentals.
yeah, that's what allows for that is that type of like I'm gonna call it manipulation, but it's technically not. But it's just like if you're selling every little pump and getting scared and panicking, like the chart's gonna have a hard time going up because every time it starts to rise, it faces this sell pressure and then it just ends up right back where it was because people got scared and sold because they thought it was just gonna keep going down.
Yeah. Yeah, I was actually a part of that little GameStop run. So I
Oh
definitely,
yeah.
yeah, I
You
definitely hear
would be.
you.
You got that degen in you.
That was during that was kind of
COVID.
during COVID. So that was when I was like heavy in options and really just playing around out there to see, what could happen.
But they
But
did it. Like
it
they
is, it
pulled I
was,
mean,
and
they
it
did.
and it was because community sentiment, right? It was
Yep.
because that when you were in Reddit groups and different chat rooms, it was understood that we're sending this shit to the moon, and
Yep.
we can do the same thing, with our coins right now. I think what's kind of hindered us, right, is the slow growth. It's strong growth, but you have to realize we came from one coin, right? We had this same energy all back behind one
Yeah.
little coin on Ethereum, right? And then Pulse Chain dropped. And with Pulse Chain dropping, you had Pulse X dropping and Ink dropping and or Hex on Pulse dropping, right? And so now you've diversified the community, but then in the amount of time that we waited for Pulse Chain to drop, because let me tell
Yeah.
you, that was a nice wait. You have tons of people that are developing saying, I want this to be the best chain. And the way that this is going to be the best chain is that it has to have, this type of utility and this type of utility and this type of meme. And so, you diversified your pool a lot, and so it takes time to grow the community to a place to where it can handle that amount of diversification, right? And so that's where we are now getting our message out there. We have so many different narratives that we're bringing in, both the long-term investor and the short-term meme coin degen players, you know what I mean? Like we are getting eyes on a lot of different, type of investors. And so that type of growth just takes time. And that's kind of where we are. A lot of people have, expectations of what Richard should be doing, but at this point, we all need to realize that we can build this on our own,
Yeah,
regardless of
this
what Richard
DeFi.
does.
Here's the whole thing. You like I don't say this as a slight to him, but like you guys don't need Richard Hart. Like the whole purpose of this is to not need Richard Hart. That's why he made it.
Yeah.
It's literally made for to be in the power of the people. Like this is in all of our hands. We're the network.
Yeah, that's what true decentralization is. Like that is the reason why so many of the other chains, aren't truly decentralized, right? Because all of the decisions are made with, we like to use this word a lot in this community, but with cabals, right? You have a
Yep.
cabal of validators that run this chain, and so they can decide to, shut off the chain or roll back something or whatever. Where post chain is truly decentralized, and once people really see, what all we have going forward, like it has no choice but to be accepted and to grow because it is true decentralization. Like, and that's what people want.
That's what I don't get, right? I've said this a few times. I don't get why all these other people like me aren't seeing this and realizing the opportunity. Like I'm not even talking about the opportunity for gains, but like people that have been in crypto for a while that understand like a lot of the mechanics and stuff and just how wide open this is and the fact that it's literally built on Ethereum, but it's without all the issues of Ethereum because it's still so small that you could literally like get off all of this shit that you would build on Ethereum, but for way cheaper, and everybody can enjoy it and interact with it for pennies or whatever it comes out to. Like
Do you think
to me,
Oh, I was gonna say, do you think that it has anything to do with ego though? Because a lot of times I think that it like really goes back to ego. Is that you don't want
yeah,
to acknowledge or admit that you were listening to your favorite influencer, right? Some big guy that's only shilling you what he's getting paid to shill you, right? Where we came from an ecosystem where nobody's getting paid to shill, right? So he's listening to this influencer and now he's starting to speak out about these projects, about Richard Hart and all this. And now that he's actually done the research to say, oh, okay, this isn't what I thought. Now it's just his ego that's telling him I can't acknowledge and I can't participate in this. Or he's
I think
participating
that's part of
silently.
it. Yeah, I think it's a multi-layered thing, just like with most things in life. I think that's definitely part of it. I think there's also a stigma, like people are afraid to admit that they like this or that they're into it because, like, especially somebody with a following, like they're really coming from the outside. I know just how negative the stigma is about you guys, and oh, that's a cult. Like Richard was a scammer. Like he
Oh,
played all these
yes.
people. They're just stupid, whatever, whatever. And I never bought into any of that, but I do know, like, as a quote unquote influencer, like a lot of these other people are afraid of their audience turning against them. So if they started talking about something like Hex and they got backlash for it, now all of a sudden they look at it as, oh my God, I'm losing my platform or something like that. And then there's also the case of me where I said to SJ before, like it almost got black holed to me in the sense that like the algorithms on Twitter show you what you interact with. And I was never interacting with Hex or Pulsechain people, so I never saw it in my algorithm.
Yeah, that makes total sense. These platforms definitely silo you into, whatever it is that you've been actively involved in. I get that all the time. Me and SJ talk about that all the time, like especially when we're trying to promote events and trying to get outside of our silos. Like you just can't. You just feel pigeonholed that your message is only getting out to, the same people that it's always got out to. So yeah, you're definitely right about those algos. They're rough.
Yeah, and I feel like that goes for everything. It's not just crypto, like politics. I've seen people that are like just so in their little like bubble that they don't even realize what's going on outside of that bubble. And they're so happy in their bubble. And when they get hit with a dose of reality, like they just kind of like snap to and they're like, wait, what? Like I swore I was right this whole time. And I thought, I had all these numbers behind me. And it turns out like the whole country disagrees with them on whatever it was. And it's because of the algorithm.
Yeah, they definitely try and keep you in a state where you just believe everything everything is like in line with what you believe. Like there's no adversarial
Yeah.
points,
Oh, you like
right?
this? Let's give you more. You like it? Let's give you more of what you like.
Uh-huh.